today, because you know what was our goal? We wanted like 1,100 even on subs, right? Now I'm like 90% sure that this is maybe a little finagled because of all the weird resubbing and subbing stuff that's been going on. But we're currently at 1,121.
Woohoo! Yeah! Grr.
But I'm actually fairly confident that number can't possibly be that high. I think there's some registry problems maybe with what's been going on today, but we'll find out later. Whatever for the time being. We're just trying to finish the cast, guys. So thank you for tuning in. This is the other winners bracket semifinals. Top left side of the map, we have the Team Liquid Red Protoss Mana.
And in the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, he is Serral.
Nice.
Nice. Nice. I'm gonna just take a nice nap.
Nice. This map has no ice.
Well, it has all the ice, actually.
That's true. Arcana Post says, what? BaseTradeTV uptime for barely over 10 hours and you're already getting tired? Let me explain. Well, thank you, 94 Sheem, for the Twitch Prime sub. Continuing on this train. Maybe there's a real subs. I don't know. I was going to say, I know it was made as a bit of a joke, but the reality is, if I'm starting a cast at 3 p.m., I can cast through till 3 a.m. very easily. If I have to start a cast at 3 a.m., however, it is a very different struggle trying to finish to 3 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, the time zones and all that, and how much sleep you actually got beforehand, because the time zones are so bizarre. Thank you too.
Math Man!
Math Man!
3 plus 3 equals the amount of time he's been sub for!
It's so often you'll see I mean, some of them are nice and just trying to really be adamant that they're right, and some of them are just trying to be dicks, but people who just compare people's professions and how tough it is for them. Desk jockeys will say that, you know, construction workers sometimes get the better end of the deal, and construction workers will say the same thing about desk jockeys, and casters will complain about stuff, and then players will say that casters have it easy, and vice versa. It goes round and round until they actually both do each other's jobs, and it's like, oh, I guess both of ours are kind of hard.
Right? It's like every time you hear a woman complaining about... No, I'm just going to stop right there. I can't.
Wow, I was trying to be nice and back up your point, but that guy's right, Rifkin. Jesus Christ,
that guy's
keep
right.
it together.
You're being tired for every...
God dang. It's just 3 a.m.
You know, I'm 75% tired for every one tired you are.
Wait, what?
Nothing. It was a bad wage gap joke.
Oh, that was really difficult to...
Yeah, it wasn't good. That's why I said it was a bad joke.
Okay.
No, but you're right. Like, it's... Everyone experiences things differently. For me, I can not function when I have to wake up that early. There's actually been some, not necessarily drama, but turmoil within the Alima League because of its start time, specifically with my relation to it. Like, I just can't do 3 a.m., guys. And TaKe'sTV picked the 2 a.m.? No problem. 4 a.m.? Baby, I'm there. 3 a.m. for whatever reason is the time I just can't function with. And TaKe'sTV chose the worst possible time for me to cast this.
Oh, God. Well... I'd say it's almost over, but not for the tournament. PVZ, Mana, what, he got knocked down a loser's bracket because of the PVZ? Was that what it was?
No, this is the winner's bracket still, man.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I still got Wikipedia up. I don't know why just to check it. Yeah, Mana did lose a game to Lambo beforehand. That was so long ago. Anyways.
Right? It's literally like yesterday.
Oh my good God. But... then he took it back with very convincing fashion the other 3 games, so I think he takes this one. Serral is a pretty damn good Zerg player. He's young. He's been up and coming for a while. I remember casting him 3 or 4 years ago for a DreamHack. So he's like, I guess he's just kind of solidifying his play, in my opinion. Like, he doesn't lose to kind of silly stuff, and he doesn't have silly mistakes anymore. He's just solid. But this is like... You know, the time I've seen him in a round of 4. I guess it's technically not quite a round of 4 yet, but...
It's also, I think, just straight up incorrect to classify him as a gas or a liquid. So yeah, I agree with that.
Because I said he's solid. That's right. Yep, exactly. But I would put Mana as more. I would actually put him as better on his best day, especially his best day. But we'll see what happens. The Adepts get 10 drones right off the bats for their lives. That might not have been worth it, though.
It is hard to gauge that, because, like, on one hand, like, okay, you lose a couple of Adepts, and that kind of sucks because you worry about a counterattack. That's where the Mothership Core is meant to carry you through, like, this early game, right? But getting a lot of worker kills always just feels really good. I think there is something to be said about the morale that you get from slaughtering a lot of drones. Same thing can be said for Serral. Like, how tilted does he get? He's like, God damn, like, I did everything I could to stop that, still lost a ton of workers.
The solution to our problem is to move to Europe. Besides the other problems with that, I would say I wouldn't have enjoyed it that much. Not because I don't enjoy traveling or living in other countries, I would love to. But when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Usually the cast for me, European time, is at 1 p.m. till 5 or 6 p.m. That's a pretty perfect time.
You know what's weird, too? When we were in Home Story Cup, or in Germany for Home Story Cup, GSL was on at, like, the middle of the day. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
We were at Home Story. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Getting just at other time zones is so weird. But yeah. So, it's just the times when they have to start early in Europe is, of course, really, really, really early for us. Just 7-hour time difference from... I feel like most of the tournaments we cast... I know there's different time zones in Europe, but...
I would say it's 9 for me, so it'd be 6 from you, no?
6 or 7, I don't remember. But the point is... it's close enough. Anyway, the game is still kind of powering up. The Adepts attack, regardless if it was technically worth the Adepts or not, doesn't... Unless it's a really dramatic difference, like 15 Adepts for 10 drones, or 40 drones for 10 Adepts, you know, type thing, it doesn't seem to play into the mid-game, late-game that much, especially if there's no counterattack in mind from the Zerg anyway, to take advantage of the lower Adept count, or the Protoss doesn't follow up to take advantage of the building drones, using the larva for that. This matchup does usually go to the mid-late game part, and unless the Protoss doesn't die, I do think that they start to take a bit of a lead with the army they can get. I mean, Mana, what he's doing right here, I think is a little bit greedy, and if Serral was planning an attack, I don't know, I think Mana might die. I think that's why he's so, specific about walling off that main ramp. Not just pylons, putting gateways there too. Not just for the future, but also for just like, if he decides to push into me when I still have no buffer from my Immortals, and I still don't have Storm, but it's on the way, I don't just die.
We also have a really odd question coming out of the chat, by the way, asking, how long have these two been dating? I don't think Mana and Serral are dating each other. In fact,
that has been the best response to that yet.
Fairly certain that if they are, it's not each other, at least.
I haven't really thought about it.
I think Serral... Mana has a girlfriend.
I think Serral's, at least 18 by now, isn't he? So...
Ooh, that Storm was really nice with those force fields. Good moves out of Mana. The Ravagers do break the force fields, but with all the... Well, not all, but most of the Banelings being removed before the fight even begins, there's not that much to worry about. He's looking for the smackdown on the remaining Banelings. They don't get to connect, and now the Ravagers being pushed back by the Archon as well as these Immortals. Good defense out of Mana, and really nice moves.
Yes, that's kind of what I expected from Mana, though. I think that was a little bit too late if he was really going to take advantage of Mana's lower production. I think there's an extra round of Immortals that had come out, and there was a round of Warpinge ready to go with the newly finished gateways. And now from here on out, it's Mana growing the Immortal counts, getting more either Storms or Archons, both great units, or spell unit, and continuing his upgrades too. So Serral, he might just be going for kind of the brutal, like, just keep on rushing into him, keep expanding, keep going for Ling Baneling, Roach Ravager. He's already on 5 bases. He could continue to do this. But he also will have to think about the future. Think about the future, son. Once it's obvious Mana. When it's obvious that Mana is, has a sufficient army type to hold against his.
teach them every day. No? Okay.
I don't even know what you're singing.
The children are our future.
Is that a song? I always thought that was just a saying.
Oh, man.
You didn't answer my question.
Usually you're with me on the 30 Rock references.
I don't even remember this one.
Jenna sings it, man. Okay, whatever. Top right. No storms available up here to wash off those lings, but he does deflect on the south side so efficiently that maybe gets back here in time to defend. Banelings are rolling into the mineral lines, and a couple of the... I guess the Dark Templar were just taken up by splash damage. One remains. He's got 7 kills on him, not bad. Small push to the south with the Zealots, actually going to be cleaning up tumors, and looks like Serral manages to sneak in once again. Amana had clumped up all of his probes. 34 deaths. Oh my god.
Well, that was... charge lot.
Charge!
It's supposed to be a hold lot.
That's like...
God darn.
It's like a comedy moment. You're like, oh, charge lot. Cute,
That's
like,
pretty
audience
bad.
laugh.
Mana also feels the necessity to keep on pushing after taking out that base and losing so many probes.
He has to, I'd argue, but he doesn't... Okay, if the storms hit the Banelings hard, this could go well for Mana. But that's a lot of Banelings that just finished up. It looks like they're not going to be what he wants for storms. GG.
Wow.
Serral seriously snuck in there with the best sneaky bait. Alright folks, we're back for game number 2. Thanks for watching. Spawning the bottom right, he managed to snatch victory away from his opponent rather harshly. It's going to be the red Zerg player, Serral.
In the bottom left, as the blue Protoss, he is Liquid Mana.
The loss of that game kills me for Mana. I thought he did so many things right. I love the timing on storms. I love the force fields that led into this sort of concave for the storms to catch everything. I love that he was pushing with storms too, and he didn't just keep them hidden back in the base. But one mistake that, like, I mean, to explain for people who don't know why that happened too. Like when you grab all your probes, sometimes it's actually a lot of effort to go to a different camera hotkey, go over here, right-click that, safety. So sometimes it's better off just to select them all and put them on a geyser, because it pulls them all away. Yeah, they stack up, and it's a little bit dangerous, but for the most part, I think the idea was Mana thought he could control it and not let that happen. But the Banelings totally caught him off guard.
Yeah. Unfortunately timed, too, because his army, it was perfectly timed, rather. Like, Serral, I think, did it on purpose. He's losing his base, he goes in with the Banelings, knows that Mana's distracted. So Mana not only was out of position to save his probes, but he also... in a split second to decide between macroing, because you have 4 bases but only half your probes now, and deciding to go for the all-in. He decides to go for the all-in because he's already halfway across the map.
Didn't Mana cannon rush earlier on this map?
Hell yeah, he did. It was great.
So sad he didn't do it again.
Yeah, it would have been fun, but it was also... we don't know how that would have been executed if his opponent hadn't been going for an early pull as well, one that he was able to respond to. Things can get a little weird otherwise.
By the way, because we have had some other results, just reminding everybody that the winner of this particular best of 5 goes on to fight against you Thermal. It's going to be pretty tough match. Bottom side of the bracket, we still have a lot of people in it. Harstum, to say the least, Lambo, Hero Marine, and Masa, with one of these two soon to join down there.
Yep. A little annoying to have to get through the bridge. So you're already sending 2 lings to take care of that probe. Pesky probe. About enough time for Mana to get his Adept at least somewhat already out. I mean, it would have been seconds anyway.
Yeah,
probably shouldn't have died.
I don't think we would have been too worried.
Is he going to try the console yet? No, not yet. Thinks about getting a soccer and then decides not to. Stargate. Wants to go Stargate. Yeah. I feel lack of energy.
Yeah. I've unfortunately been right in that. Speaking of Stargate, did you ever watch that show?
Only my mom watched it. I didn't care for it that much.
There was a more recent one called Stargate Universe, right?
Okay.
And man, they took that. Like, I didn't watch anything between. I know there's been like a movie and like some other things that got Atlantis or something, but they took that show so far away from what the original Stargate was. I don't even know what it is anymore, man. Like, it's so not what I remember. Like Richard Dean Anderson and all those guys. Like,
oh, I don't know much about that. My mom probably tried to watch it.
The really big guy who played Teal'c.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into him at a restaurant once when I was younger. I was like, just remember being so excited, but I was so confused why he did. Because when I say younger, I mean like I'm seriously like 13 or 12 or something. I was so confused why he didn't have like that weird gold thing on his head in real life.
Yeah, I can see that. Still being an early teenager. Now, if you had met Jason Momoa, I would be impressed, but that's fine.
That's Aquaman. Hey.
But he's also in Stargate.
Was he?
Yeah, one of the Stargates.
See, I think I know what you're talking about. The that was funny enough, actually. Aquaman Atlantis, I think, was the one he was in, and I didn't watch much of that one.
There you go. My mom also watched Star Trek, and she watched the new one with Scott Bakula, the new one that was like 20 years ago. At this point, apparently that wasn't too well received either.
Enterprise?
Yeah,
I thought Enterprise was alright. I didn't watch all of it, but some of it. Is his name really Scott Bakula?
Because it sounds like Dracula.
It's one of those names that's like, oh, is this guy a hidden Dracula in disguise? Like,
yeah, of course. Nah, he's like, I would say that he's looked young for a while, but now that he's in NCIS, he doesn't look young anymore. I loved him in Quantum Leap, though. So this is a pretty standard build for Mana. He did expand with this in mind. It wasn't like the all-in version. Dark Shrine, Adepts, Resident Enclaves.
So I'll leave this as my last off-topic thing, guys, as the game is about to hit perhaps attacking points. I know you don't watch a lot of Rick and Morty, but there's this one with this vampire Coach Ferratu, and at the end of the episode, it's like the vampire high council, and they're like, Coach Ferratu, can we stop picking stupid names that give us away? It's so obvious. Like, just pick the name John Smith or something. Don't go around telling your name is Dr. Acula.
Dr. Acula. That's a funny show.
Well, the Dark Shrine is one thing to speak of. It's actually, again, with the way economy works in Legacy of the Void, you're much more inclined to have this Dark Shrine and use it for Archons really than simply DTs. Mana may still give a DT or two a try, but I think one thing we are a little bit worried about for him is he just doesn't have a lot, period. Like, there's not a lot of Adepts waiting. He just finished spending all this money on gateways, so kind of rely on combination force fields, SimCity, and this mothership core to overcharge buildings to buy him the time to get that army. In the meantime, other side of the map, there's those Adepts coming in, so what little army he has is on the offense.
More importantly, the two DTs are going to that fourth base. There's a Spore Crawler, but there's no detection.
Yeah, you can focus that down really easy, I think.
Yeah, the Spore Crawler for sure. I don't know if he'll be able to focus down that, then the hatchery, until I think Serral will be able to respond to it, so maybe just going for the hatchery would be the best bet. That's what he does.
Alright, well, the Adepts still transferring around, being very annoying, and Serral's not responded too well to this. He has taken a lot of drone losses. And let's see, the DTs, they will get cleaned up, but that was a great distraction up north because, well, 20 drones have died. This is something, too, where, you know, there's +1 melee weapon upgrades, actually. The Roaches may end up not being too helpful here. We've seen TLO and many other Zerg players use this +1, get those surrounds, and destroy the Adepts. Not really what happened here.
No. The Menace attack was okay, successful, I suppose. The fourth base lived, the drone count doesn't go too far down, and one round should just about do it to boot him back up into a okay situation. The follow-up of the Archons could be a little scary. I don't know where they're being made.
Shout out to Marcos, by the way, for the Scrubs reference.
Oh, they were. They were in the Warp Zone. Sure, shout out to Scrubs, something I've never watched.
I'm a Superman. That was definitely my favorite show growing up. More than Friends, I'd say, even.
I didn't think you liked Friends that much to begin with, so that doesn't surprise me.
I mean, I liked Friends, I just wasn't obsessed with it or anything.
Sure.
If I was one of the friends, I'd be Gunter.
That's sad. He's not really even a friend. So, that's extra sad.
I just meant that I also have a huge crush on Jennifer Aniston, okay?
Well, who doesn't? She's great. She's very funny. Alright, so the Archons don't really do as much as I thought they would. They're going to try and get a couple of great shots on the Lings, but, I mean, they were never, like, truly, 20 of them bulked up with a great shot. At least he saved them, however, and back at home he's been producing the Robo units, Immortals, basically, as well as getting more Archons. Interested to see if it's Colossus or Disruptors. I would say Disruptors. Colossus have been making it back in the versus Terran matchup at the very least, and sometimes Berserk, almost never versus PvP, and yeah, I would say Disruptors. But then it is interesting that he bothers going, oh, no, I don't know, I guess I was thinking about the last game where he got charged, never mind, oh, he still gets charged, okay. Well, usually we just see like a max out of Immortal Archon charge lot, not necessarily adding on any Disruptors.
Love the cheeky pylon down to the south.
Colossus.
I think Colossus are actually a really great choice. Disruptors might get the one big hit, but that's a maybe. 3 or 4 Colossus are guaranteed to just melt wave after wave of Lings and Banelings.
It's consistent damage. He's getting 2 of them at a time, so very quickly going up to 4. That should be enough AoE. This is one of those few times where you do see Colossus in this matchup, though. Again, it's kind of making its way around. It'll be fun to see how Mana uses them. Serral already onto a Spire, funnily enough, could go for Corruptors. That's such an old way of dealing with Colossus, though. Like, oh my god, it's an old. He just wants to try and pair that up with a Greater Spire.
Well, there's a lot of Banelings coming in. Not just over here, but back at home as well. 47 in production. I think with the +2 weapon upgrades, busting through the wall is not going to be a problem. And let's not forget, +2 weapon upgrades mean these Banelings get to one-shot the probes.
Yeah. Pretty bold push out, but the Militia Core is here, and there's nothing really to take that down too quickly unless Mana really miss micros. Oh, those Colossus are so helpful.
Thank God, too. They were really shooting under their own legs to keep that from getting too out of hand. But, damn, that's a lot of Banelings. Mana realizing this was not a fight he wanted to take, recalls back home. A very smart choice.
Well, Rock's being broken down. Things are about to get a little heated, I guess, around Mana's 4th base. He's already up to 3 Stargates? No, he started out with 1, that's right. So 4 Stargates. That's... I think one too many, but... He can get onto Tempests if Serral does manage to, well, just pull back with his army, or just, you know, I guess he is just going to be able to pull back with the army. Snipes the Nexus, returns home. Not dealing with the harassment so poorly. Zealots, Archons are going to be able to snatch that hatchery.
Seems way too dedicated, though, for a hatchery. I don't know.
As long as you have the Archons, I don't think 5 Zealots is that bad.
It's true. Fleet Beacon coming up, so I guess he's anticipating the Spire. Where is the Spire? Did he actually see it? No, so he's actually had no eyes on the Spire, much less the Greater Spire, but he's going to be very happy to have that Fleet Beacon. Because now Tempest will be ready and available much sooner, much faster.
Yep. Going for 4 Phoenixes at a time? Okay. I don't think he's going to go Phoenix as a response to Broodlords, but...
No, maybe he's just thinking it's going to be an Impulse Crystal game for him. Lift up as many of the things as you can.
Huh. Oh, yeah, there's Tempest.
Serpico asks, by the way, for casting everything today, and the reality is we're probably not. In fact, I don't believe I'll be able to make it past this best of 5.
Oh, it's rather tiring.
I've got like water in my eyes right now, and I don't want to wipe them because like I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Part Falcon says I'm back like a vertebrae. Rifkin still awake? What up, man? How you doing, Part Falcon? That was a great pun. I like it.
It's good. It's good.
Your back is almost as good as your front. That's my attempt to return the joke.
Okay. Oh, the game continues. Oh god, Tempest though looking pretty strong once they get into that high number. The Broodlords are already attacking, however, in the I thought Tempest already 2 of them are out. Okay, my bad. I thought 3 were popping out at the same time. 4th base has to be evacuated once again. This isn't the worst thing, as long as Mana can steadily get maxed out, which he's close to it, I think he can. But he does need that base now, kind of. 51 probes. Not really mining off the main or natural anymore.
Abandoned ship.
These banelings could be freebies.
Interesting.
Some of the banelings are there. Nice.
He gets both Archons out of line, which is astonishing to me. But I also like the idea of like kind of dropping them in there and just maximizing the amount of banelings that would hit it, but also that it would also hit. So as this gets shields back, Serral's going to be careful of that coming back in. These banelings just going to roll in and not give a single good gosh darn. But looks like the Archon and the Pylon was enough. He actually lost the Pylon for it. That kind of sucks, but stopped the banelings from destroying his mineral line.
Was that Archon stuck there and it's been freed?
Yes.
Perfect. Serral on 5 bases already, getting to a 6th now, is banking quite a lot of minerals, and in that situation, or in that perspective, he is doing a lot better in this game. Mana's army is strong, but if it moves out aggressively, it can get surrounded, and that is definitely the scariest part. He still doesn't have a 4th base to rely on for a very good, consistent income, much less a big bank. That's Nexus is already pretty damn low because of that. Yeah. No Oracle. 4 Phoenixes, but no Oracle. Whoopsie.
They're so fast, they'll beat the detection.
Yeah, that didn't quite work out, did it? I mean, wait, the detection. The scouting? Anyway. It's still sniping Corruptors one by one, not too shabby, but of course the Oracle Revelation would give him that extra bit of vision for the extra bit of range for the Tempest, as well as just knowledge of when Serral is moving aggressively or moving elsewhere. Mana can't really afford to harass the guy though, like even if the main is not bothered to be looked at again by Serral, basically, because it's, mined out, there's still nothing going on over there. No Warp Prism flying around anymore, I guess, since Archon went down. And he needs it to reinforce his main army too, I suppose. Mana not quite on Storm, I think. If he waits for that, then I could definitely see him taking an army fight. Without it, that is questionable. There's so many Corruptors. There's 22 Corruptors. With at least the +1 upgrade. They're not that well upgraded, in fact. Second Spire on the way, however, as well as an Ultralisk Cavern. Serral rolling in the dough can definitely afford all of this, so I think he should. And speaking of rolling, there's no probes over here. Psych! Get wrecked, Banelings.
That is a bit of a waste, unfortunate.
Well, there is the Storm. Storm is done, but how many Storms does he actually have to use here? The Archons are doing some serious splash work as well, but the Corruptors get such a good concave. There's so many Archons. They are definitely killing the Corruptors. And if any of the Tempests live after that, and 3 of them do, they can take out the Brood Lords. In fact, the Archons may not be able to do that too. Not quite. Yeah, the Broodlings and the Banelings are a little bit too much. But the Tempest lived. The Colossus lived, which I thought was surprising as well. And Serral just overdedicated with Corruptors, but he can replace it. Mana cannot replace his. He's close to it though. He managed to double expand during all of this, Barely go into a 4th base and managed to sneak by a 5th as well and sending probes over there now. Or not. Well, he's still in a 4th.
Bandicoot chances. I would love Rook to assign my mouse man. Oh, one day. Dude, just bring it with you to any event you know I'm going to. Happily sign that shit.
I'm tired. I was gonna make a joke about how I spelled Nat like the name, but I don't care anymore.
Just yawning every second I'm talking.
Well, Serral is still in position to end this game just because, again, that thanks to that huge bank that he had, the fact that he's on 7 bases.
Yeah.
He's still in a position to win this game, but Mana, with another fight like that, he could bring it back.
Well, with another base going down, it becomes even tougher. Let's not forget for Mana, like, okay, Protoss units are expensive. We know this, but very specifically, gas units are going to be expensive. As he continues to invest in more Archons and more, say, Tempests and other things, that's where ground swaps are a bit more powerful, right? Start having a lot more of these Ultras, suddenly you need more Immortals. You can't make any because you put all that gas into Templar.
That base is going to go down at some point. Serral just has too many lings running around. He still has a bit of a bank for lings, too, so he knows that's low. He can grab it. He gets 10 corruptors over there to grab it, in fact. Maybe they'll be able to escape.
Yo, watch him whip. Watch him nay-nay.
Please, God, no. Broodlords are once again on the way, along with a lot more corruptors. Dear God, that Nexus. Mana can't lose it. He seriously can't. He's nowhere near maxed out this time. At least before he was at like 170-ish, so you can see him kind of slowly getting back up there, but 140, that's so difficult. And he wants this other, yeah, he uses 400 minerals to get another base. He's trying to anticipate these lings too, by the way. Like, he's got an observer, he's got a probe mic running around there. Still can't catch him. The Archons and the Storms have got to do their work again, but I really think they can. Tempest's gonna focus fire on the Broodlords. The Storms, well, actually aren't as significant as I thought they were gonna be. Here come the Ultras, and I think Mana's been keeping a lot of his mortals at his bases because he figures he doesn't need them as much.
He has.
Maybe he brought him
the third earlier.
Yeah, he brought him to the front lines, but that doesn't matter. The Broodlords were enough.
Well,
Enough of an army.
Serral takes the second TV, and everyone know ahead of time, so hopefully they have somebody in backup, and if not, oh well.
Oh well.
Yeah, I guess to explain really quick before we get through this, they had the intention of just making this a really long, drawn-out day, and on purpose.
Yeah, initially I was confused. I thought someone said they meant, like, that was their plan for, like, the year, and I was like, no, dear God, no. But, okay, for, like, a 2-day tournament, that could be okay if it didn't, we were talking about earlier, like 6 hours ago, mean that the players are also waiting, like, a ton of time.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just seems not terrible or anything, but it does mean this drags on for quite a while.
Again, I feel like if this started at a different time, we would have had a much more enjoyable experience with it. Not to say it was bad, but just exhausted coming here into this game. It is worth noting that spawning here in the bottom left, he's down 2 games, and on his last life in the winner's bracket, it's Mana.
The top right, as the blue Zerg, he is Serral.
Now, I guess that is kind of the key addition to this. Winner's bracket is being heard of what I'm saying. There's a loser's bracket to fall down to, and I believe the winner of Masa and Hero Marine are who fights the loser of Mana and Serral. Although at this rate, if we can be honest, Mana is getting dismantled 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking strong for Serral. It's not just that he's getting super lucky, although sometimes, you know, like the Banelings rolling in was really nice in the first game, but it's that he's just looking strong, and Mana's not looking as strong. It's really, I think, kind of as simple as that. There's been no build crossovers, no failed cannon rushes, no weird cheese that Mana didn't expect. It has just been mostly the macro games, and Serral doing stuff that is not unique necessarily to him, and actually winning with it, so... I don't know what Mana could do. I mean, he could do a lot of things differently. You know, he could actually go for different openers for sure. There's still a nice goodie bag of Protoss openers. Not totally restricted to just the Twilight Council opener or Stargate opener. But it's the 2 most common for sure. And at this point, down 2-0, you might not be so eager to do an all-in. He's been doing the Adept Dark Templar expand attack type deal. He could swap that into an all-in, maybe catch Serral off guard.
I would only disagree with your point just now, only because it's Mana, more so than any other player, and there's a lot of situations where he'd be down 0-2, then he would do the pylon rush against Terran, win, followed up with another cheese, followed up with another cheese, boom, that's a series. Like, he's certainly capable of having his stress turned into strength, I guess is the way I'll phrase that.
Well, he's getting a Twilight Council now, but again, this could just be the macro version. Galactic Process going to be an easy 3 bases if he would so desire. Same for Serral. But it's not that he's had trouble getting 3 bases in any other games. Again, that's not really the problem. There's been no, oh, well, you know, the Roach push surprised Mana and then he couldn't get to a 3rd base and all tumbled down from there. No, he's been getting to the points where I'd say that Protoss actually can feel comfortable. They're no longer on a razor's edge of having to micro only 2 Immortals and 4 Adepts and a Mothership Core. You know, it gets like a serious all-in. He's getting to a pretty nice army supply. It's just been that Serral's been taking a bit better of the fights. He's been getting more counterattacks in, more harassment done.
of which, a couple more links finished to run through. They're looking for scouting, if anything else. So Soccer doing what he can to block them out.
Denies the link from scouting, but I don't think Mono's gonna do anything too weird anyway. I don't think he's going for the Dark Shrine this time. Hey, there's the Robo.
No, but you know what? Like, conveying this fake necessity to kill the scout kind of starts worrying Serral, I think, in that situation.
Yeah, maybe a little.
I mean, after all, he did just have to do the DTs and Archons one game goes.
Yeah. And like, he's already getting a lair, you know? And not to say that that's, like, wow, such a greedy lair timing, but he would be safe against the Dark Shrine opener that's been playing around, you know, in a lot of PvZs, since you get a lair. You can hold off on the lair and just get Sword Prowlers, but he's also getting quite a few units. I mean, he's really anticipating the Adept attack, I believe. He should be going into drones after this. He might have just scouted the third base going down too. He did, so the fear of the like the 6 gateways that you didn't see in the main base is usually pretty gone after you see the third base. There are some trick Protoss builds. There will always be trick builds, but they're certainly not popular anymore.
Nor are they illusions, Dad.
I have a message at my private terminal.
Oh, well, that's just a fancy way of saying my phone is a text. So, congratulations on that. Is it a party? Are you going to a fancy party?
I have never been invited to a party via text.
Is it a dress-up gala?
Damn it. No.
I'm so curious now. I must know.
It's my sister-in-law. She wants to know what Woodwatch sponsor we have because her dad wants to buy one.
Yo! What's your sister-in-law's name? Jessica?
Yep.
Hey, Jessica, if you're listening, shout out for being awesome. Getting your dad a great old Woodwatch.
Yeah.
And
Well, dad's getting it.
If anyone else is curious, woodwatches.com/base to save you 5%. And during holidays, sometimes there's even better deals.
Mm-hmm.
I can't shut up my microphone, chat, because it's just me speaking with no energy. I got
right? The game continues. We have Blink this time as opposed to Resident Enclave's Into Charge. What the hell is that sound? That was Discord, wasn't it? What? Stop.
Okay, hello?
Hello? What happened?
I don't know.
No, not making a sound anymore.
Okay, so you're the one freaking out, not me here.
Freak out, man. Well, the DTs came eventually, even if they weren't necessarily paired up with the first Resident Evil's attack. And that might just be enough of a surprise. We do have a Overseer on the way, though, and Sword Prowler's already down. In some places, there it is. Not in the natural. DCT's not gonna go for it. I believe in you. Just kidding. I believe in you. Okay, there you go.
That didn't turn into a small nuclear black hole explosion. I was lied to with the campaign of the Legacy of the Void.
Well, maybe it just... imagination.
Oh no, it's the evil villain, Clone Dr. Sidewinder, who resubbed for 9 months. Mwahahaha. Thank you, Dr. Sidewinder. Thank you for being excellent. I guess in the meantime, having a gold base is going to be certainly preferable, as Serral just kind of protects it for the time being.
I gotta like sell out to my sister right here.
There's...
Oh, it was the Yord Woodwatch website. I forgot they did this.
Woodwatches.com.
Yeah, and when you go there, they ding you and they're like, "Hey, need some help, hey, buddy?"
Oh yeah, I know, it's so annoying. Like, I wish I was able to turn that off.
Forgot they did that. Alright, well the main engagement's about to happen here. A bunch of banelings finishing up. Adepts being taken care of. It's the perfect time for Mono to try and get some free drone kills with a Warp Prism. I go right to that main base. Some Lings are already on it, but not a lot.
Okay, bottom left of the map looks like a robot wearing a red kimono, wielding 2 scythes, mini scythes.
Bottom right?
Bottom left.
Bottom
So you
left.
see the overseers, like the Cylon eye on the head?
Okay,
And
you
the
mean
third-
Cyclops?
The third is like the right arm of the kimono. The left is like the left arm of the kimono. The main base is like the skirt. And the mineral lines are these scythe weapons.
Man, you're whatever. Anyway,
You high as fuck? No, I'm just tired. I'm sorry. Zombie, the camera's going on you. I need to draw this. It's very important.
fine. 15 probes went down, not so much in the drone line. A Spinecall and Sparkler put up its defense anyways, because of the Dark Templars, and nothing is to be done right there. Mana did a decent job defending, however. He didn't lose his probes, or not all of them anyways, lost 15. And he could still get a 4th base. You know, he still has enough money and certainly enough consistent income to get that, and he definitely needs it. His Colossus are now out, which will help deal with the Lings and Banelings a little bit more.
I'm not gonna drunk. Oh, on the hot scale, I'm a 10, baby.
Get a Hello Zergling for the donation. Says $10. Marathon Sleepy Cast Hype. Ace Kate. Go, go, go. No sleep. Never surrender. Oh, I'm surrendering.
Yeah, we're surrendering after this so hard.
It's gonna be great. So, Warp Prism was again going to try and do something, but the Lings have really been on top of this. You know, if Mana could warp in another round, like, you know, full 8 round of Adepts, I think then Serral would get overwhelmed, and he would really start losing out on his side of the map, forcing him to retreat, forcing him to maybe just take a lot of damage, and lose a 4th base, but Mana can't, and now really can't, get the Adept warping going. The Corruptor just took out his Warp Prism.
Ouch.
It's
sucks.
all about Mana's defense, which hasn't been terrible again, but it is something that he is not trading as well as Serral, who's also expanded. Huh, Corruptor's taking out Colossus. What is this, 2010? We're the Hydralisk. The Blink Stalker's doing exactly what they would do against Vikings. Is this still my camera? I assume it is. Well,
yeah.
Colossus, not so badly microed here. Do go behind the Immortals, go behind the Force Fields, but the Corruptor's still taking them out one by one. Not a lot of ground. Oh, that pylon with the warping was denied. But there isn't a lot of ground armor left over from Serral after his Banelings died. And Mana still has a good chunk of his Blink Stalkers. But he needs this 4th base, and it is going to go down. Boom. Serral, well, Serral has a Hive. He has Spire. He could easily turn to their Greater Spire, but he is going to continue the pressure with Banelings. So many Banelings. Oh my god. And now the Banelings roll in. That's a pretty good split of Stalkers, gotta say, and in fact, Serral's gonna retreat out of that. It was off creep, it was a good split, good concave. Maybe he would have been able to force the issue, but he didn't want to try. For all he knows, Mana has another round of 8 Stalkers ready to be warped in, when really, we know he doesn't. He's using that money on 2 Colossus. But it's also just questionable to engage something like that anyway. Serral's gonna look for an opportunity where the Blink Stalkers do not have the same possibility of micro. They're stuck in a corner, they're around buildings, they can't really spread out that much. The spread is trying to happen, but they are running out of that space. And the Banelings are getting some solid connections. Ling should be able to wrap it up too, and I think that's just going to be game. Serral, surprising me certainly, but I did say that he was getting better and better and looking just more solid, like fixing all the gaps in his play. Takes the 3-0 for Mana.